All right, guys. So before we get started, I gotta ask you a question. Do you know
Okay.
how? Do you know how I know Josh Allen has a foot fetish?
No.
Because he likes defeat.
Ah,
Welcome to the Undrafted, Uncensored
you like it
cast
to
of
feed.
Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in everyone to the Undrafted Uncensored, where we start our podcast now, apparently, with Colin telling bad dad jokes.
Sounds good to me.
That's a phenomenal dad joke. I mean, Rex Ryan used to be in Buffalo too. There's a lot of defeat going on there.
Oh. I mean, I guess it's better than my, paying hush money to somebody in a lawsuit and then having to resign from your job for the second time in 2 years. Thanks, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I saw. Is that picture real of the new owner of WWE? I can't. I saw something about some guy who doesn't look like he. I don't know. I don't know what a wrestling guy should look like.
The old guy with the
Yeah.
really bad mustache looks like it's been colored in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
Vince
really?
McMahon.
No.
Jerry Buss?
No, there's a picture of the new owner of. I saw something floating around. I didn't spend a lot of
Oh,
time.
that the TKO whatever thing that him and
Yeah.
UFC came together to. I didn't see that guy. I just saw the article yesterday and I started laughing because Vince was he finally got himself out of that trouble and weaseled his way back into control, and now he's forcing himself into retirement again.
He gone.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, you know?
I know, right? Like the dude that tears two quads trying to climb into the ring because the finish didn't happen the way it was supposed to, and
Yeah, he's just kind
I mean,
of a piece of shit, you know?
all his employees are contractors, so that he doesn't have to pay them health insurance.
Ha. Ooh, that's low.
Yeah. WWE employees are not actual employees. They are contractors, and so they are required to find their own health care. I mean, obviously, unless something happens in the ring and WWE takes care of it, but only to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, it's a good thing I saw the movie Liar Liar as a kid, which told me that wrestling was basically fake. So I got into sports that weren't. And it was still like kind of fun to see the people. I loved seeing The Rock in movies. Because we loved the Mummy Returns and then Scorpion King. Oh man, that was one of the first like DVDs I ever owned. You know, when DVDs came out. But yeah, I never actually really got into. Huh?
Those graphics were so bad in that movie.
Oh, it's horrible, especially in the Returns one. Scorpion King was a lot more just big muscly dudes just punching each other. And there was that chick who was naked for a little bit. That was cool.
Joe's first naked girl in a movie.
No, it was like I think it was still PG-13 or something.
No.
The DVD had the music video for Godsmack, "I Stand Alone." It was awesome. It was the most early 2000s thing that you really would ever want.
Oh, you guys saw. I think I talked about this. That list of songs that came out 25 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a few of those. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a little sobering.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Oh hey, I remember that was in high school. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that was a punch in the hernia. I'm like, oh, I don't even have a hernia, and that's a punch right there. Thank you.
That's gonna cause a hernia.
Yeah. Oh man, that hurt. I'm like, oof.
Yeah, genie in a bottle.
Yeah. You start walking around.
She was like 18 when she made that, or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't remember which one popular Britney Spears song. There's a lot that came out 25 years ago. I actually Bad Touch, actually Bloodhound Gang. Bad Touch.
Yeah, Bloodhound Gang.
5 years.
Yeah. So 99. Yeah, because that's
one thing I was thinking is I was listening to some new music the other day, guys. And
I'm sorry.
I don't know. They're all just remakes or using old like tracks from old songs. I don't think any of this music right now is going to be. I don't think there's like a big portion of this music that is going to be reused. It's just not original. It's not. There's nothing new.
So, I hate to break your
It's
heart.
all.
Did you listen to
It's all
some of that
just
90s
rehash.
rap?
Oh, I know. Well, I know some of it's all reused too, but I'm
Yeah,
just
they
saying.
sampled, and it's
But that's different.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of new stuff. Even in some of the country music going on, it's like they're just taking back from the old stuff. It's like, all right, we can't come up with anything new anymore. I guess the well has run dry on the music industry.
Well, yeah, the
how many
record companies
reboots
are
have you
all
seen?
scared. You know, if it doesn't sound like something that they know will sell, they're worried about it. They don't want to put it out there, you know, because it costs so much more money, and people aren't buying CDs. They're downloading music, they're streaming it, they're watching it on YouTube or whatever. So they have to capitalize in different ways, and they don't make quite as much money as they used to. Gosh darn it, those poor record executives.
Well, look at how many older songs are all of a sudden becoming trendy because, oh, I found this cool song and it goes really good with this TikTok, or it goes really good with this dance, or and I'm like, did you not listen to the radio as a child? What did your parents do to you?
Yeah,
Don't hurt you. Don't hurt you.
We can thank Napster and LimeWire for all the free downloaded music.
Hey, but
Yeah,
at least we
thanks,
listened
Justin
to it.
Timberlake. Or no,
But
sorry,
at least we
what's the
listened to
actual
it when
guy's
we
name?
downloaded it.
Yeah, we did.
We knew what we were looking for.
And we saved it forever on our iPad or iPods or whatever, or MP3 players or Zunes.
Zune. I had
Oh,
one
yeah,
friend who
that's what I
had
was
the subscription to Zune, so he had every song like ever on his fucking Zune. He was a big like death metal kid and a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, he was the Zune guy. I just had like a regular. I had a weird offshoot one at first, and then just had a regular iPod after that. I was like, no, just give me like the shitty, simple. Like, I just want the one with the screen because everyone was at the time was like, no, the iPod Shuffle. It's awesome because it's so cheap. And I'm like, but you can never just choose the song you want to hear. So I hate it.
Yeah, Shuffle was a pain.
Fuck that.
I got that I won that at a company party, and it's like I got it, and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I was like, I do not want, and like I understand like there's certain people that only really want their playlists anyway, and like that's awesome. You know, there's a thing for that, but it was like mismarketed. It felt like it was like, no, it's just great, and then you can't choose a song ever, and you're just pissed.
Yeah, I would go from like Jedi Mind Tricks to country to alternative, like to Third Eye Blind, to
which is great and funny sometimes, but like you can do that on a regular iPod too, with a fucking screen that lets you actually, you know,
shuffle.
I have a song in my head. I want to
shuffle your country music.
Yeah,
shuffle the shuffle.
Exactly. You know, like every day I'm shuffling. Nope, no, I am not. Thank you.
Well, we got 4 teams that are looking to go shuffling.
Yeah.
Super Bowl shuffle.
Super Bowl shuffle. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's how to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
We are just about 24 hours ish away from AFC NFC matchups, Chiefs and Ravens, and 49ers and Lions. How do we feel about the Baltimore Ravens exercising their demons?
You know, you might have some demons in your internet right now there, Nick, but I got what you're saying.
Clayton.
Lamar Jackson looks to be every bit the MVP that he's going to win this year. It feels like the Ravens have finally gotten over that hump that they needed to get over, that one win. And I just don't, I mean, I'm not sure how the Chiefs can win this game. Although at the same time,
they
Mahomes.
Score more points than the other team.
I don't even know if that's going to stop the Ravens.
No, that's how you win the game.
I don't know if that. I still don't know if that's going to stop the Ravens. I don't know if Mahomes is going to do that or can do that, and even if he does, something fluky will happen. And we all know the fix is in. So somehow the Chiefs could score more points, and the Ravens will still win the game. It'll be like an old election.
Oh, the hanging Chad.
It just, yeah, like I said, I think they exercise their demons, and it's Lamar Jackson is pretty much unstoppable right now.
He's pretty darn good. And especially with them getting Mark Andrews back, like they're a fucking force to be reckoned with. Because now they could come out there with 2 tight end sets with Andrews and Likely. Like that's pretty likely to work out, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you did there.
Well,
good.
With that also, you have Zay Flowers, and it's either Odell Beckham or Rashad Bateman or Nelson Aguilar. I mean, you don't need with those 2 tight end sets. You don't need
those
to put
guys
out,
can catch passes.
One really good wide receiver, and then 2 below average or average, I guess, wide receivers, because those guys are good
average,
for.
I think everybody else is below.
Yeah, I mean, I think Beckham is good for what he does, but he's not going to be able to play a whole game. We haven't seen him play a full game of snaps, I want to say, all season. I think his highest catch total was 5 in one game. I'll have to go back and I'll look at the stats in a second. But I don't think Beckham has really played more than 60% of the snaps in a game this whole season. He's a possession receiver. And then you have a guy like Aguilar, Bateman, who is kind of in the same mold, but they can stretch the field a little bit more than Beckham. And Zay Flowers, you can just move all over the field, and he'll find a spot to grow and shine.
So speaking of Nelson Aguilar, do you guys remember that video of the guy in Philadelphia? Their building caught on fire, and so a couple of dudes, these guys were like heroes, were like getting people out of a second-story window, and they were literally like tossing kids over the rail, and the other guy was catching them because they just needed to get out that quickly, and they saved a bunch of kids' lives, and it was kind of awesome. And so they were interviewing the guy, one of the guys who was up in the building throwing the kids down. And he's like, yeah, man, I was up there. I was just throwing out babies, and my man's down there was catching them, unlike Aguilar.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And he just stares into the camera. Just fucking perfect Philly fan. Like, this man just saved a bunch of kids' lives, and he gets to talk about it on the news, and he still has to talk shit about Nelson Aguilar. Because this was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, when he was on the team. But, oh, man, it's just the only thing I will ever think of when I hear Nelson Aguilar's name is, yeah, my man's was catching him, unlike Aguilar.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Oh, that's too funny. So, I mean, we've all seen the Chiefs. We've seen the Chiefs several times this year, obviously being the AFC West team that we are. Have we seen the beginning of the end of this Mahomes era, like being extremely dominant? Or is this year just kind of a fluky year where it's just not coming together quite as well as it has in the past?
No,
not at all. I think this is like kind of a bounce back, like backwards. Not like they're going to bounce back this year, like kind of a bounce backwards year. And they're in the fucking AFC Championship game, and it feels like they took a step back this year. Like, they're going to retool, especially if Travis Kelce retires. That's going to be a huge loss. But on the other hand, that opens up a whole bunch of money. And you're not telling me that every single receiver on the planet that has some kind of like player option to be a free agent and go play with Patrick Mahomes and try to become that next guy, that next Tyreek Hill for him if they're a receiver, or, watch him get Mark Andrews or fucking Evan Ingram, or like watch George Kittle's contract go up and he just goes and plays the, discount Travis Kelce role. Like, they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to be okay. But this is a year where they kind of take a step back. But they're still like really good. Their defense is really good. They're leaning into what the strengths that they have, which is their defense, their run game, and their consistency. The fact they can just count on Mahomes and whoever to get them a few yards, and Pacheco can keep them in good situations, and they can kind of just grind out a game. That's how they've been able to do it. But now they're coming up against a team that might put up too many points for them to be able to grind out.
And so I did find it on that Beckham. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
played 50% of the snaps this season
Oof.
for the
rough.
team. I don't have a game-by-game breakdown, but in 2 games, he's had 5 receptions. And those were early on in the season. One was against the Lions. He had 5 in week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In week 5, he had 5 receptions. And in week 7 against Seattle, he had 5 receptions. And that's when Seattle had what's his name covering Zay Flowers. So
Tariq Woolen.
Yes, Tyreek Woolen. He has 2 games with 4 receptions. But yeah, he only plays 50% of snaps, so he's not out there much. So it is a hodgepodge of wide receivers in this game. And you got to imagine that in order to beat them, you got to beat L'Jarius Sneed. I got it right this week.
Ha!
And so that's
Shout
going
out
to
to
be
Willie Sneed.
that's going to be with those tight ends. And for, your question with Mahomes, is he done? No. Unless the Chiefs decide to go the Packers route and not draft any wide receivers for him. That's where we see the drop off, and he's still, like you said, he's still in the AFC Championship game. Can you tell me a year that Patrick Mahomes hasn't been in the AFC Championship game?
Yeah, his rookie year.
Yeah.
When he didn't play. When it was Alex Smith who only got him to the second round.
Yeah. Gosh darn it.
It's Alex Smith. Excuse me. Patrick Mahomes, no, it's not over. And I know this season has been built on a lot of the defense has done a lot of the work. The Chiefs have a chance because Kadarius Toney was officially ruled out today. so they have a better opportunity at winning this game automatically.
The Chiefs have a chance.
That gives them a bump up. But
is it a vision problem?
The Mahomes era is not over at all. I mean, there are, especially with the way quarterbacks are protected in this NFL, there is just no way that you can say that Mahomes is going to be done. It's only going to be if the Chiefs decide to stop giving him help. They should look at this and see what happened to the Packers. The Packers continuously were drafting players on the defensive side of the ball and not helping that offense become more explosive. And they were only adding back guys or cutting guys Aaron Rodgers didn't want, or they were cutting guys that Aaron Rodgers wanted to stay on the team. And instead of doing that, I think the Chiefs will learn from it. They'll draft some offensive guys. They'll add to the defense, of course. They're a very good drafting team, unfortunately, for the Broncos.
Yeah.
But they're going to add the pieces because I heard this question the other day. Do you think we'll ever see a bad wide receiver draft again? Because the way college football is right now, and this is the way it was phrased. This is from The Ringer, their fantasy football podcast. The way college football is right now and the athletes that you have, if you had a guy like Tank Dell, 180, 5'8", 180 or whatever he is, if you had a guy 10 years ago who was that size, he would never make it to college playing wide receiver, at least not the level he did. And he definitely wouldn't make it to the pros. I mean, there would be a single guy, maybe. But now we see more and more of these athletes coming out at different sizes at wide receiver, and they're drafted in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounds. So I don't know if you can choose a bad wide receiver. I'm not saying there aren't going to be bad ones that come out of college, but I don't think there's bad wide receiver classes anymore just because of the athletes playing that position and the way that they're accustomed to.
I think Belichick helped with that too, with his offense, because you have guys like Edelman and
Welker. Well, Welker.
Welker, and there's one more. Crap, what the hell was his name? Edelman, Welker, and
Stokely was in Indy.
Son of a bitch. I don't
Randy Moss.
Amendola.
Thank you. There it was. He was the one he was the first one I thought of when I was going to make this point, and then he disappeared. He kind of made those slot guys, like those smaller slot guys, popular. What's that?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like his NFL career.
Well, yeah, because you think
you got one more concussion. It was like, oh, see you later. That's it.
Did you guys that video?
You know, like you think back to guys like Stokely, you know, Crabat.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But you didn't have like too many of those guys. There was a few, you know, in the entire league, and that was it. And then yeah, Belichick really kind of found that as a kind of a player type. You know, Peyton Manning kind of showed with Stokely how like useful that can be. And Belichick kind of already ran a system like that with the Patriots with all those small receivers anyway. With I'm trying to think. Like I remember David Givens was one of them. I want to say Troy Vincent, but he might have been a corner. But I remember he had like a bunch of just little guys for like those early 2000 Super Bowl years that were Brady's. Troy Brown. That's right. Troy Brown. That's who it was.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah. But yes, he always kind of like did similar stuff. But he realized like, oh man, if we can get these like really shifty slot receiver dudes, like this is going to work out. But then Belichick, you know, his drafts were never that good. You know, Miami drafted Welker, you know, the Rams drafted Edelman. He brought all those guys in, you know, drafted Amendola. But Edelman was a quarterback that they brought in and tried to, you know, move to wide receiver just to see if it would work. And turned out he was really fucking good, which pissed me off.
Well, the thing I guess that I'm pointing to or that I'm pointing at is not necessarily just the slot position either. Because if you look at Devonta Smith, I already named Tank Dell. You know, these guys are not just slot receivers anymore. I mean, before it was literally there was just Steve Smith was the small wide receiver guy. Like that was it. Yeah. Like he was your small, dynamic number one wide receiver, no doubt. Like how the hell is he doing this? But now there are more and more guys that are getting opportunities, and I think the Broncos tried to almost cash in on that trend with KJ Hamler, which didn't work at all. You know, he's fast as hell. Yeah, he couldn't stop from tearing his hamstring. John Ross, there's another one. But I still think that a lot of these guys now that are coming out, it's that transformation that we talk about in the NFL. Like the Broncos were one of those teams that kind of started with some of the bigger wide receivers. I mean, McCaffrey, Rod Smith, and Shannon Sharp were bigger guys. And then it moved over to getting bigger quarterbacks. And now it might be a shift in the NFL where those smaller guys, faster guys get off the line and, you know, go down the field or get open in the middle of the field, whatever it is, kind of, Swiss Army knives, I guess maybe might be a better term because you're not going to go deep all the time. But I just feel like these smaller guys are getting a lot more opportunities in the NFL because some teams have shown that you can win that way. You don't need the 6'3", 200-pound, 220 wide receiver, whatever, the Calvin Johnsons. While they're great, they don't come along as often as the guys like Tank Dell or anything like that. I mean, even Marvin Harrison Jr. in this year's draft, he's big, but I don't want to say he's huge.
No,
I might be wrong.
He's going to be a top 5 pick. That kid's a fucking stud. That's one you hope goes, you know, as early as possible because that's one more pick that's not a quarterback.
No, he is 6'4", 205. I think I'm thinking of the Washington wide receiver. I'll look it up, but some of these guys aren't the huge athletes, the Calvin Johnson freak athletes. Marvin Harrison is big. I forgot. He's like 6'4". His dad was like 6 foot or something like that, or 5'9". Or
he was skinny. Marvin Harrison was real skinny. He was tall though, I thought, but he had hands with glue on them. He was just so good at everything. Like there wasn't one thing that you could say like, well, you know, that's a weakness of Marvin Harrison. No, that's not a sentence that any broadcaster ever fucking said. Because that dude, he's one of those guys. I think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and if not, he should have been. Because I know he's in the Hall of Fame.
Speaking of Calvin Johnson, the Lions go to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. They're playing with house money. I like the Lions. I did not like what the 49ers showed me last week because they didn't – I don't think they really earned that win. I think Green Bay gave it away, but that's just my opinion.
Give it away. Give
Can
it away.
the Lions make Kyle Shanahan look stupid again?
Can they? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but they got to go for it. They got to make it every time they go for it on fourth down and going for two and all of that kind of shit. Because Dan Campbell is going to just press the gas pedal super hard.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have to really hit on a lot of those, kind of like one of those college underdog games where it's like, you know what, we might get blown out. But if we hit a bunch of these, we actually have a chance to win. Otherwise, we kind of have no chance to beat Alabama. And obviously the Niners are not quite at the level of an Alabama. So the Lions could just beat them by being faster and more of a kind of just high-flying offense, but with that super solid running game as well. Because I don't think the Niners defense is great against the run. I know they can stop the pass pretty well, but if they can establish a run game against the Niners, that's going to be really tough for them to stop. And then if their defense can just luck into any kind of stops or find a chink in the armor, maybe Brock Purdy's hand is still a little bit hurt. But it's definitely not outside the realm, but they're going to have to hit on some stuff.
Well, I think you got it mixed up. They're better against the run than they are against, or the better against the pass, better against the run than they are in the pass. Excuse me.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that. I figured it was around.
Yes, yeah. Their front seven has been pretty good. I know Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was the first running back to go for over 100 yards in like 20 games against them.
Really? Okay.
So, yeah. So their front is good. They do have Ward in the back, who's really good, and he had one bad game against the Vikings earlier this year, whereas Jordan Addison's coming out party. I'm getting a bad internet signal, guys. So if I start screwing up, just let me know.
You're good.
But they're Jahmyr Gibbs has also been more involved in the game. So the question, can they beat them? Yeah, they can. The problem with the 49ers is, that was their first game back. The Packers had a chance to win it, but the Packers had to play a perfect game. And two interceptions and a fumble out of the end zone, or a fumble recovery for the Packers was basically what gave them opportunity, or screwed them over. Excuse me. So the two interceptions that Love threw, you kind of have to play a perfect game against the 49ers. And not that I don't think that the Lions can. I do think the Lions are obviously more talented than the Packers are. So they can probably get away with one mistake, but you make two mistakes and the 49ers are going to beat you. So can Jared Goff play a clean game on the road where he historically has not been as good as at home? It's also outdoors. We saw the rain, well, it's hard to see rain on TV, but it was raining in Santa Clara last week, and that made it more difficult. So can the Lions take care of the ball and play a close to perfect game? That's what it's going to take for the Lions to beat the 49ers. Definitely possible. I mean, without a doubt, it's possible.
It's possible.
But the 49ers, you also got to imagine that they knocked the rust off. In the news today, Deebo Samuel's off of the injured list. So this should be, the title of this episode is Scoregasmic, because I know we're going to go into the NBA and the high scoring, but this weekend should be some high scoring games too. This game should be fun. I think it could be a big back and forth kind of game because both of the secondaries are not, they have some players, but they're not star players, I guess I should say. They can be beat. Both of these secondaries can be beat, and we can see some high scoring, fun up and down the field games where these teams just are racking up the yards. I mean, we could have like a 900-yard total game, 450, nice, 400, and 500 yards from each side in this game, because Christian McCaffrey, saw it last week. He can break off a 50-yarder at any time. Jahmyr Gibbs, we already know he can do that. Deebo can take a screen pass. Amon-Ra can take a screen pass. Sam Laporta can do it. I mean, these offenses are dynamic, and both of their quarterbacks just have to run the ship right. and not into an iceberg.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, Santa Clara is just south enough that there are no icebergs in the Pacific Ocean, and I think it's probably just a little too salty there too to really develop a good iceberg.
There's an Alcatraz, though.
There is an Alcatraz. There's a very touristy destination there. I mean, obviously,
Haven't you ever
this will
heard?
be.
Oh,
It's also a
No,
movie
go ahead.
set.
I was gonna say, have you ever heard the quote? The coldest night I ever spent was a summer day in San Francisco.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
It can get damn cold there.
That
for
breeze off
no
the
reason
bay
at
is
all.
no joke.
Yeah, I remember when I was walking the Golden Gate Bridge. Was that last year or 2 years ago? Man, it was so nice, and all of a sudden it was like, where the hell did this come from? I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. I need a hoodie and
I did
jeans
the
right
same
now.
Same thing. So my parents, after they got married, they took their honeymoon in San Francisco, and so when I was going out to see the Giants and the A's play a few years ago, my mom tells me, she says, "Bring pants, bring a hoodie. It's gonna get cold." I'm like, "It's still summer. It's fine. It's not a big deal." She's like, "No, I'm telling you, I know how you like to walk around, and I know you're a shorts year-round guy, but I'm telling you, take a pair of pants, even a pair of sweats, and a hoodie." First night out, there I am, realizing I hate hills because San Francisco is hilly.
Yep.
And these aren't like little hills. These are like 60-degree angle, and you're like, how am I supposed to walk up that? Get up to the top, and then let me tell you, that breeze comes, it just smacks you so hard. You're like, what the hell is this? This breeze is like 20 degrees.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh, I wouldn't mind going back though. I like that ballpark.
Oh yeah, I think I might go back this summer just because.
I want to go. I might want to go to Oakland one more time too.
Yeah.
Before they tear it down.
Oh man, it's such a.
What are they even going to do with the old park? Like, are they going to get like a minor league team to take over it or something?
No. So, we'll transition into this real quick, but yeah. So they have the Bees now, which is a minor league team, independent league team. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That are going to be playing the Ballers, Ballers, right?
Ballers, yeah.
That's playing in Oakland, and so they were supposed to have an exhibition game at the Coliseum. And now they ban them from playing there. So
someone's got plans for it then.
They probably demolish it, honestly.
Or it's just going to condos or something.
They're actually better at demolishing it anyway.
Yeah, they probably are.
Turn it into a hotel and keep like small pieces of it to like frame somewhere, and then like, hey, look, this is the historic site where that ballpark used to be, where that team. You ever seen that movie, the Brad Pitt movie?
Yeah, the idiots like me that go out there and like, hey, this is where I used to stand, and take a picture of it, and
they'll put a little like X as a home plate in like the hotel lobby. Yeah.
No, they'll put an actual home plate in there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Underneath the floor. Yeah.
Have you been to Atlanta, Colin?
Well, I didn't go to the old stadiums. I went last year, but I didn't go to the olds. I didn't go to Turner or oh man, I can't remember the other one.
Fulton County.
Oh yes, Fulton County. I didn't go to either of those. I was going to, and I wanted to relax, so I decided that I was going to relax on my last day or two and really not just fill the agenda, because I did a lot when I was in Atlanta last year.
Yeah, you did.
Well, that's the idea of a vacation. You're not supposed to like spend the entire time running around like a fucking chicken with your head cut off. You're supposed to be able to take some time and enjoy some stuff and relax too. So many people.
And that's what it felt like at that point.
Going somewhere like, I want to do every single little thing, and then you spend so little time on each thing that none of them really feel that cool anyway.
You need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, it's like calm
and
down.
that was exactly what I didn't want to end up happening when I came back. So I did the things I wanted to do, and the other things were just extra, and I didn't feel like doing them, so I didn't. I relaxed. Nice. I slept in, watched some TV, walked around a little bit, but
relax.
Yeah. So the Bees in Oakland are shout out to Right Field Will. and he's the guy who he helped me get a ticket last year to the game and sitting with the fans. But he has
He's
his
that dude
B
with a
stuff
big ass red
on.
beard, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen that.
Good
Dude.
guy, great guy.
There's
He always has a flag hanging out there.
there's I
Really cool guy.
follow a girl on Twitter that's an A's fan that I don't know how I ended up following her one day, but she's a big A's fan and she's always got pictures with him too.
It's honestly, I probably met her because the group of people that we were all sitting there, it really was like family, like I said, out there with those A's fans.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to demolish it, build a stadium, or figure something out for the minor league team. Either that or the minor league team, once the contract is up with the A's, will take over the contract in Oakland. But yeah, the Bees are coming to town, and the A's are still in talks about their stadium in Vegas. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but it looks like there's a hitch in the giddy up for the stadium in Vegas for the Oakland A's. Well, the team formerly known as the Oakland A's. They might be in a little bit of hot water, and they might not have a home for a while.
Yeah, they're gonna probably. I mean, I think Cashman Stadium is still standing, where the 51s used to play.
Okay.
I don't know if those dimensions are big enough for Major League Baseball. They might have to share with the Aviators for now over there on the northeast side or northwest side of Vegas.
Yeah.
Or head down to Henderson.
Henderson.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what's gonna. I'm really not sure what's gonna happen there because it feels like things are falling through and crumbling for the A's more so than the Coliseum was crumbling. So the plans are
stadium like the Chargers.
They do have a side, don't they? No, they don't have. They share that. Maybe they. I don't know what they do. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think Vegas or the A's know what they're doing either.
No, it's like that friend you have that's like, oh, dude, I just bought this house and this car, and then you're like, oh, cool. When can we show up? Well, I'm not done with the paperwork yet, and not everything's approved. And 2 months later, like, so when's the housewarming? I didn't get the house. So you're doing all that bragging, and you don't have a place to live.
You hadn't even closed yet?
Right? Oh, man. Speaking of closing, some people should probably look at closing their hands before reaching around because Joker got a booger hook to the eye the other night, and that must have really hurt because I've never seen that dude like on the ground in pain.
A booger hook. That's a good word.
Booger hook. Yeah, he was down. He came back and played, but he wasn't himself in that game. And you could even tell, I think he had 3 assists at that time, and he ended with 4. So his vision was definitely messed up and skewed because he still scored some more, but he was uncomfortable in that game. Or when he came back, and you could just tell he wasn't himself. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the whole team was flat. It was just from the word go, the Nuggets were not in it. And I mean, you can't fault them because that was the fifth game of their roadie. You've been away from home for a week and a half now. At that point, you've been on airplanes
like 9 days, 5 games.
Yeah, you've been in hotels, you've been on airplanes, and planes, trains, and automobiles, basically. And you just reach that point where you're just exhausted. Like, I mean, even when you travel, like if you go to like 2 or 3 destinations in a week or something, you still get tired, even though you're relaxing on a vacation. At least I do.
Yeah. And I think it's just a real shame too that we finally have, I'm pretty sure it's the 76ers, isn't it? Is the game? We finally have
today.
Joel Embiid. Yeah. So we finally have Joel Embiid here in town, actually going to play, and Jokic might have a fucked up eye, and like that makes me so sad. Because this is the year too where like Embiid might be able to outduel him to an extent. He's having a ridiculous year. if he plays all the games, he'll get MVP. I think guaranteed. But like, I want to see the showdown. Maybe as like a finals preview to an extent. But before the finals, before it gets real serious, I think it's gonna be fun. And again, for the whateverth year in a row, we're gonna sort of get robbed of that, and it's because our awesome big man might not make it. Oh, look at that dog!
Look at that doggy.
He said he wanted a little screen time.
He needs to come hang out.
So, injury report for the Nuggets for the game tonight. Chanchar's obviously out. Gillespie's out. Aaron Gordon's probable with a right shoulder sprain. Reggie Jackson's probable with a left toe sprain. Joker's probable with a left eye abrasion. Braxton Key's out. Jamal Murray's probable with a bilateral shin inflammation. And Strother's out with a right knee contusion / sprain.
All right. Well, if they say it's probable, then he'll play. But
yeah.
Still, that would have been a real shit.
For the Sixers, Mo Bamba is questionable with a right knee inflammation. Covington's out. Tobias Harris is questionable. Kenneth Lofton Jr. is out. Tyrese Maxey is questionable. Deontay Melton's out. And Marcus Morris Sr. is probable. Which one was the O for?
What's up?
I thought I heard O when I read somebody's name.
Oh, Tyrese Maxey.
Questionable left ankle sprain.
That's huge. He's the second best guy on their team. He's had a phenomenal year. He's kind of taken over that number 2 role that James Harden was last year. He's just such an elite shooter and just really athletic kids. That's a big shame in and of itself. That might hurt them a lot. You can see the Nuggets kind of taking advantage of that to an extent, because it's going to be all Embiid doing most of the scoring then. Because if he's out, that's rough, man.
It should, the Nuggets being back on home court, I think that'll rejuvenate them. We all know Jamal Murray at home is kind of unstoppable. And I think that the day off and then the flight back, losing to the Knicks, that I actually had that kind of as a planned loss. When I saw it, I was talking to my friend Jonah at work. He's like, the Nuggets are going to win this. I'm like, no, dude, it's just too much. When you have this East Coast swing trip and you played some other important games and the games down to the wire before that, it's tough to stay up. And the Knicks are playing pretty good basketball right now. I mean, we talked about OG Anunoby is playing great, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. I mean, they're a pretty good squad. So playing in the Garden, it was going to be a difficult ask for the Nuggets to win that game. But the chance to be back at home, and this is the last time when these guys played in Philadelphia, both Jokic and Embiid almost both went for triple doubles. It was a good matchup with each other, and Embiid ended up winning that matchup overall because obviously Philly won. But I think this is Jokic's turn on the home court, and the MVP chants are going to be raining down for him. As much as Embiid deserves it this year, we all know that inside of Ball Arena, the chance for MVP are going to be for Jokic. So it should be a really fun one to watch tonight, and talk about scoring. I don't see a lot of defense in this game either. You mentioned James Harden. James Harden had his 67th career triple-double last night. We had Luka go for 73, right?
Yeah, 73 last night.
Booker goes for 60 or 59 in a loss. The scoreboard's been lit up in the NBA recently. I mean, lit the fuck up. The over-under on a game I looked at on Saturday was like 260 in the first quarter. And it still went over. Last night, the Warriors, I want to say it was
the Mavericks and the Hawks went for almost 300.
Yeah, almost 300. And then the Suns game with Booker went for like 280 or 270. It's been
64.
It's been fun basketball to watch offensively because there ain't any defense being played right now.
No, nobody's guarding the basket for anything, which is okay because I mean it's a scoring kind of generation right now. Everybody cares more about points than anything.
It's fun to watch. We like to see people score, but and I think they're just kind of waiting because they know the regular season, especially this time of the year, they're just kind of getting through it. So no one's trying to,
Pre-All-Star break.
way too much effort into, some random defensive play in the middle of January. And then they end up getting hurt for too long or whatever. Like we'll start seeing more defensive clamp ups as we get towards the end of the year. Then in the playoffs, obviously those big defensive teams, hopefully Milwaukee figures out what the hell they're doing defensively. The Knicks are a very defensive oriented team in general. And then over here you get the Lakers. If they can figure out what the hell they're doing, they're very defense oriented with LeBron and AD. So if they can go on the run that everyone kind of expects them to probably go on after some whole big bunch of trades again. But right now it's not a huge concern for a lot of teams. But once you get closer to the playoffs, like stopping Jokic will be a concern.
Well,
you have to stop him. Oh, go ahead.
Oh well, I was gonna get a transition for you too. So I was gonna say, speaking of All-Stars, have you seen the NHL All-Star jerseys?
No.
Yes,
they look like they were made on MS Paint. Oh my god, they are.
Oh my!
What the
people complaining about the.
When people are complaining about the own jerseys.
Yeah,
like that's. These are all the All-Star jerseys. I don't know when the last good one was, for all the sports, but I'm over it. Just wear your own jerseys, home or away. I don't care anymore. I don't. These it's so pathetic.
No, like everybody was complaining when the Rockies hosted it. People need to remember too, those were supposed to be for Atlanta.
Yeah.
So the Rockies just got the hand-me-down. I wish they would give the Rockies another chance to actually, because when they hosted it in '95, those were great. Those jerseys were amazing.
Yeah. But All-Star jerseys were better back then too. It felt like they put more into it. Like this has been a run of bad jerseys, like bad sweaters or jerseys, whatever, for All-Star games. I don't know when I really can't tell you when I think the last good ones were even both were good. I think the baseball ones, the road ones, was that last year were okay. I liked, but they still were only okay.
People like the green Colorado license plate Rockies jerseys, but I don't think that was like an All-Star game thing. That was just like an alternate kind of jersey thing, right?
It's their
but those are amazing.
It's their City Connect jerseys or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I think those are awesome, but that's just
me. Get whoever designed stuff like that and fucking give them the All-Star jerseys if you're going to do something like that, and have them all wear the hats of their teams. Because that's kind of standard. Like that's what. But I'm sure there was a designer guy, or girl or whoever, that actually like had a big role in it that they could kind of continue to use the vision
of that.
I'm
glad you said that.
Yeah.
So so the NHL, when they put these sweaters out for the All-Star game, collaborated with I think either with Justin Bieber or with Justin Bieber and a associate. That's how they came up with those sweaters.
The Rockies?
No, the hockey ones.
Oh, hockey.
Have you seen the hockey ones?
No, are they bad?
Look them up real quick.
Okay.
Let's look them up. Let's get your instant reaction to them. Now that
see this.
that we've knocked them down so much, I want an instant reaction to the NHL All-Star hockey sweater.
Okay. NHL.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I guess he's Canadian, so he gets a pass to be able to do something like that.
Just the mustard yellow and the bright red. Or is it the blue or the white? Which one is it? They just have
There's four of them.
There's four of them, one for each division.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so, just to help out for anybody that's also tuned in.
Lame.
Yes, there we go.
they all look like little league hockey jerseys. Like if there was a team that was going to go against the Mighty Ducks, they would wear one of these four. Yeah, and then the Ducks would have a green one that would look just like that.
Eye-catching colors featured in design collaboration with Justin Bieber's fashion brand. There it is.
Well, that's stupid.
Right there are your all-star jerseys.
Those are your NHL All-Star Game sweaters
on the side.
It looks like bubble letters, dude. Like it doesn't even look like an NHL logo. It just looks like a cartoon version of the NHL logo.
I mean,
it looks like one of those knockoff jerseys you would get. You know, like you go to the rough side of town and there's that store that has all those knockoff brands.
Hey, I shop in Colfax, okay?
You know, as you know, that's okay. There's a lot of nice
probably
things
better quality than that,
right?
I'm trying to think of the the brand that was like the early 2000s, knockoff
Champion.
kind of. That's one of them, yeah. I don't know. Never mind.
Which I don't know why people not Champion. Champion actually was really good gear.
Oh, Champion now is like fucking top tier. They're
I know, dude. Like
wear them and like rock them like they're cool, and I'm like, those are cool now. Okay.
All right, cool. Well, speaking of cool, 4-pointer, second 4-pointer from the Mac Attack.
4 goals.
Yes, 4 goals. I'm sorry, he's maintaining his point streak though. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
his
not
home
just
point streak continues. Good grief!
Yeah, only guy in that.
Yeah, I did this like 6 fucking months. Yeah, and the first 2 times it's ever happened in Avalanche history too.
Yeah,
that's the weirdest part. I think is as long. I mean,
no, the weirdest part is people throwing their underwear on the ice. But that shit's also awesome. Like that's exactly what you want to see from a fan base like that. Like, oh my god, he got 4 goals. Well, I already threw my hat. Hold on, brah.
So my brother sent me
sent panties. Yeah,
we have a group chat with our parents on Facebook, and he sent a screenshot of the tweet that had the bra out there, and he said, "I don't think this is a hat." And so I told him maybe it's the gatekeeper from Little Nicky. Remember he had the boobs on his head?
Good old boob head guy. Oh,
yeah,
that's the best.
You know what? The Predators have the catfish. You know, the Red Wings had the octopus. Who had the rats?
Yeah.
The Panthers had the rats.
The Panthers.
Maybe the Avs have the undies.
There you go.
Maybe we go shopping at
Victoria's
Walmart
Secret?
or whatever and just get a bunch of packs of. I ain't spending that much money on something I'm throwing onto the ice.
I thought you were saying that they're going to start putting their sweaters in Victoria's Secret.
No, we're getting a bundle pack here, son.
Yeah, I'm getting my money's worth if I'm throwing it on the ice. But maybe that's
Yeah,
the trend. The undies on the ice for the Avs. You leave it all out there. But that game against against the Capitals was so nice. I wish Ovechkin had scored a goal because I would have hit a nice little parlay. What are you doing, buddy?
I was waiting for that. And then, what's up, homie? Avs bring on Parise. It's official.
Yes. Thank you for paying $7 million worth of his contract, Minnesota.
Right. Hey, as long as he's healthy and if he can fill that hole that was left by Nichushkin, I'm not gonna be mad about it. You know, it's a little interesting. It's kind of late in the season. He's older, so I mean, maybe half a season's good for him. But
I think it's well worth it to try. I mean, it's $1 million for the Avs.
Yeah,
it's not gonna hurt them, and it's the lines look so much better seeing Zach Parise in there than they did beforehand.
Yeah.
Now you move guys like Manson and McDermott. You know, your lines feel much more. There's a lot more continuity. in those
Yeah.
lines. It feels like.
Well, Germany doesn't have
it's
Bednar's faith anyway. That's probably another reason they went out and got Parise. Is Bedsy doesn't trust him in close games. What's Fred the Frank doing?
He's chewing on my ski mask thing for the Broncos hoodie.
Nice.
He just pulled it down.
He's just having a good time.
Frank's doing something right now.
Yes, he was.
Frank,
he wants to go outside.
Well, lucky for him, I'll just put a bow on this by saying last night was an amazing game again. Avs looked good. They dominated and maintained a lead the whole time, which is very nice, not having to worry about the game getting tight. What is tight is probably somebody's belt right now because somebody doesn't feel like they did very well in the victory formation last week. So, Colin.
Is that somebody you?
Take over, yes.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
Oh, baby, do I have a special victory formation for you this week, because I also have the return of Joe's Lose Bad, where I pick the game. Joe gets to watch.
You want to pick one?
Oh,
I was like, because I'll just, because we'll just find one that was terrible. I'm sure there'll be some bad NBA. I've been thinking the same thing.
We have the 8-37 Washington Wizards.
Oh, sick.
Facing off with the 9-36 San Antonio Spurs, where there's one thing to watch. That's Victor Wembanyama.
No, yeah, and Jordan
Poole missing shots 10 wins.
All the time. That's going to be sick.
Turnover Central, Sunday night, 6 p.m.
I love this.
Joe's Lose Bad. You do not have to watch the game because Joe is going to.
No one's going to. Literally, no one was ever going to watch this game. But I like it. There's too many teams in the NBA that are actually trying right now. Like, we get so few matchups that, like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Like, 2 terrible teams. Like, it's just, oh, look, it's Boston versus the Pistons again. Wonder who's going to win that one. That's not fun to just shit on the Pistons like everyone's been doing all year because they're terrible. But you could argue Washington's worse. Jordan Poole had a pretty good – Kuzma, I think, had a tweet that was like, don't be that team. And they lost to the Pistons. And it's because they're that team. Like, you could argue they are worse.
They're all that team.
They just didn't have the historic losing streak and the confidence hit that Detroit took. But, man, Jordan Poole is not good.
Well, look forward to the full recap from Joe next week of the Wizards.
Oh, shit. We had Washington, Detroit yesterday.
And that is
that would have been
that will be so that's the Monday night game. Joe watches the game, so you don't have to. But going on to the games that we're actually going to pick, and everyone is, well, maybe not everyone is going to watch, but we'll start off. We'll kick things off. Chiefs versus the Ravens, Sunday, game 1. Who comes out with the AFC Championship? Chiefs are underdogs at +170. Ravens favorites at -205. Nick, who you got?
I got Baltimore. That's all I'm going to say. It's Baltimore.
I thought you were done talking. Joe, who you got?
I mean, I've been picking against Baltimore the whole time. That it's been kind of funny, but it hasn't worked. Something about this Chiefs team still feels like they have something up their sleeve, like they can just kind of grind it out. But like I said, I don't know, man. This Ravens team, they can put up so many points. Fuck it. We'll just stick with it. I've been shitting on the Ravens the whole time. I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's obvious that I am taking the Ravens in this game. I also hate the Chiefs, so go make sure you vote on Twitter for the best team name, Broncos versus Chiefs. Broncos, we got to catch up. We move on to the NFC Championship. The Lions, underdogs at plus 270, going to Santa Clara to face the 49ers at minus 340. Joe, who you got?
This one is really tough. Something about the Lions, man. I just feel like they're ready to do it, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you've seen this happen before with sort of newer teams to the playoff field, where they get far and then they go up against a team that they can't handle. And I don't know if the Niners are necessarily that team, but I don't know, man. With Purdy not playing perfect like you had before, because I think he has, what is it, a thumb injury, I want to say, or a hand or something along those lines. They're just kind of lingering. Debo not being super healthy. He's gonna play, but the Niners, they're just really good. You don't want to count them out. I don't think I'm going to count them out, but I think I'm going to pick against them. I'll take Detroit.
Taking Detroit. Well,
that's
like
tough.
I said, the Packers had to play a nearly perfect game to beat them. I think the Lions will have to play close to that also. But the 49ers, with their 1 week knock the rust off game, I think they come back and win this game. And they move on to the Super Bowl just like it was predicted in the Super Bowl logo. So 49ers win. 49ers Ravens Super Bowl. Nick, who you got?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, like I said, Detroit's playing with house money. The Niners are the Niners. There's a reason they were the best team in the NFC. But like you were saying, these Cinderella teams eventually find that wall. But I think Detroit has one more leap in them before they hit that wall. And I think with what the Packers did last week to Brock Purdy and really kind of exposed him, even though he is injured, they did enough to expose him that I think Detroit's going to take some lessons from that, and they're going to move on to the Super Bowl.
Detroit Super Bowl.
So, wait, hold on. You are taking
Detroit, baby.
You are taking Detroit.
It's going to be a shady Super Bowl.
Yeah, so you're taking Detroit then, Colin?
No, I already took the 49ers. What is okay? I love it. Trust me, I'd much rather see the Lions play the Ravens in the Super Bowl than the 49ers and the Ravens, because we've already seen that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know, man. You guys are a little crazy. That's all right though.
Yeah,
that's all right. It's okay to be a little crazy.
Poor people are crazy, Jack.
It's just, I don't know. It feels like one of those games, man.
I think the Packers laid a blueprint. I'm just saying.
Oh man, this is okay. I'm just really surprised that I'm the only one taking the 49ers here. Well, you guys got to catch up somehow. We move on to the third game of the week. We take the Suns versus the Magic on Sunday night basketball. Suns are visiting the Magic in this game. As of right now, not Sunday night, excuse me. The Sunday night game sucks. So this is the matinee, one of the matinee games. Suns are 26-19. Magic are 23-22. I am taking the Magic at home. I think that the Sun gets put out in Orlando. Nick, who you got?
I actually agree with you about Orlando. They've played pretty well this year. They're turning that team around, and I mean the way they played against the Nuggets when they were down there, that's a pretty decent team that you can't just quite walk away from. So I'm going to go with the Magic.
I want to take the Magic. I like the Magic a lot, but I'm pretty sure they have a lot of injuries. I want to see, because I think this is one of those games that, even though the Magic would not probably, because the Suns have Kevin Durant, but could potentially win a playoff series. I think this game, they're going to be pretty short-staffed in, but maybe I'm wrong, and they've got some of these guys back. But this year's been a phenomenal just like story with the Magic. Goga Badat's having a massive kind of, who the hell is that kind of year, playing really good starting center minutes for these guys. And obviously, they got Paolo, who's, and Franz Wagner. They've got some really good players.
Banchero.
Let's see. Paolo Banchero. There it is. We're going to click the thing. We're going to see who is playing. If Nick gets to check the pitcher every fucking baseball pick, then.
I already had my MLB app pulled up, though, if it was baseball season.
Oh, so it's only Jalen Suggs and Gary Harris, our guy, Gary Harris.
No, look at that.
Suns are without Nurkic and Bull. That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I don't know. My initial feeling was Phoenix, but now that I see the injuries, fuck it. We'll stick with it. We'll still go with Phoenix. Devin Booker put up like 60-something points the other day. It was in a loss, though, which does make me think that they could still lose the game, but I'll take Phoenix.
Oh, and in a special, you guys didn't see this one coming. We have Daniil Medvedev versus Yannick Sinner in the French Open. Or Australian Open. Excuse me. The Australian Open.
Australian. It's like French Canada,
Yeah, they're about the same. We have one guy who I didn't share screen. We have one guy who looks like he's 12 years old.
Sweet.
Popping up yet? Yeah. So that's Yannick. And then Medvedev, who's actually won a bunch. Don't really need
Yannick Ngakoue.
Don't really need to show that. But not Ngakoue. He's a football player. But in a special pick'em, who you got? It's number 3 versus number 4. Medvedev is 3. Sinner is 4. Are you going to heaven or are you staying in hell, Joe?
Everybody said, go to Medvedev.
Damn it!
I knew Nick was going to do the exact same thing, so I had to do it immediately.
I hate you.
Yeah. We're taking Medvedev for sure, because I know who that is. I don't know the other kid, and that was too good of a joke.
I'm just taking the underdog for that. I'm assuming he's the underdog. I don't know. I don't have the odds up on this one. I just realized that we had the Australian Open going on. So I do know that he beat Djokovic, excuse me, in the game before, or in the match beforehand. So Medvedev did. So I'm going to go with Sinner in this one. Nick, are you going with Medvedev?
I'm going to exit Kipling or exit Ward to get to the Medved Autoplex.
Hell yeah.
All right.
The giant Medved Autoplex.
Let's go.
It's not that big.
Who says we only talk about football?
Right?
Give me a traffic update on how to get there, guys.
Hashtag Medved's not a sponsor.
Yeah. But our DMs are open.
Sure. Yeah. Also, I can't confirm one way or the other, but in my headcanon, I will always just be able to confirm that Nico Medved, head coach of the CSU Rams basketball, it has to be somehow related to the car dealership. You can't change my mind. He might not even be from Colorado, but that's my guess. It's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
Well, drive us out of here, Nick.
Well, for the stubborn Joe Goodwin, the Djokovic unknowing Colin Zanker, I am Nick Archuleta.
I would never be That's ridiculous. How dare you even insinuate? I am not.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
The Undrafted Uncensored. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Michael Spillon and everybody over at E5280sports.com for hosting us. We love you. Until next time, enjoy football this weekend and basketball and all the other sports. And don't forget, get the MedVed Autoplex.
Yep. Thanks, Nico Medved.